Am I the asshole for refusing to make my son cut his hair to be in my brother's wedding? Bear with. This is my first post. My 15-year-old son was asked in January to be the flower dude in my brother's wedding, which will be end of this month. Since then, my STBSIL has made frequent comments to my son along the lines of, "So what are we going to do about this hair?" He has thick, curly hair that he's been growing out for a little while now. He's got a goal photo we've been showing to his hairdresser. A couple weeks ago I texted my brother to let him know that we will groom and style his hair, and use product to tame it, but I was not going to make him cut his hair. At that time, my brother said that was fine. Then he told me his fiancée wants to take my son to her hairdresser for a trial run on his hairstyle. Side note. Won't go into the entire history, but I've had issues with her need to dictate and control, including one time she told my brother he couldn't accompany my son to the for stitches unless she could go too. I told him I'd make sure we did the trial run on my son's hair. He then wrote that fiancé wanted final approval. I said I'd make sure he looked nice on their wedding day. Then a few days ago my stepfather wrote my son, telling him he would not be getting fitted for his tux until his hair was cut. His exact words were, "No decent haircut, no tuxedo fitting, you will not be in the wedding but seated in the general audience with your family. That is the result of no haircut." Got it? Quote. My mother is also firmly on the haircut side. She feels I should make my son cut off his hair because it's a very formal wedding, and claimed we should have known that was the rule from the beginning. I finally texted her back and stated had we been told that was a condition of being in the wedding, my son could have declined. Then instead he was subjected to several months of passive-aggressive remarks until I finally addressed it. So now it's really blown up. At this point we aren't even going, because to me, kicking family out of a wedding party for refusing to alter his appearance when he has had this hair for years, is ridiculous. My family thinks I'm unreasonable for not forcing my son to cut his hair. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Bridezilla needs to get over herself. I wouldn't go to the wedding either. This is a very ridiculous situation. If I had a nephew I loved, I'd want him in my wedding regardless of what he looked like. Poor kid. Tell him his hair is awesome. Not the asshole. Forcing children to have their hair cut against their will is a form of abuse. Anyone supporting this does not have your child's best intentions at heart and are coming from a place of selfishness. Remember, a wedding is one of the most important events of a person's life, for them. For everyone else it's just another pain in the ass. Holy Bridezilla, Batman. Seriously, why on earth people get the idea that it's okay for them to dictate a semi-permanent change, in as much as once the hair's cut, that's it. You gotta wait months, years for it to regrow that length again, for the privilege of attending their wedding. Sheesh. Personally, I'd be horribly tempted to rock up as a family in casual suits and wild hair colors at this point. But that's probably not diplomatic, and so not attending might be the wiser choice. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You know who's going to remember the Flower Boys hairstyle after the wedding? Literally no one. Not the asshole. Long hair on men being seen as informal is such a double standard. As long as it's kempt, then it is appropriate. The bride asked him to be in the wedding, fully aware of what he looks like. This is akin to brides asking their bridesmaids to color their hair, or otherwise alter their appearance, to fit the aesthetic they're going for. Don't ask people to be in your wedding if you are going to nitpick the way they look. Period. Not the asshole. I truly don't understand people who think that the fact that they are getting married imbues them with some sort of power to dictate the hairstyles, hair color, tattoos, etc. of other people. Your son is doing them a favor by being in their wedding. You are doing them a favor by attending their wedding. Why are they acting like they're the ones doing you a favor? They are putting their feelings about a dumb haircut over family. Don't let them convince you that the roles are reversed. ETA. If any of them had a sense of humor, there's a great solution here. Just fully embrace the flower boy role and give him a flower crown to wear over his thick, curly locks, preferably with ribbons trailing on the back of it. Not the asshole. It sounds like they've been hating on the hair for a while and this is their chance to fix it. Go you for sticking up for your son. Take you all as you are or they don't get any of you. Not the asshole. I would have responded, lol, to Gramps if he sent such a MSG. Not the asshole. Good for you to sticking with your kid. Sorry to say your family, and family-to-be, are toxic control freaks. At this point, I'd opt out of the wedding entirely, but that might be too extreme for you. But giving in to this entitlement just feeds it more. Not the asshole, you are an awesome parent and keep standing behind your son. Not the asshole, he's 15 not 5. He gets to choose his own hairstyle. Not the asshole. Asking your son to get his haircut is something that can take months or even years to grow back. You can't ask him to bear all that so they can have his hair look the way they want for just one day. Also, if someone talked to my son the way they talk to yours, they'd have much bigger problems than some kid's hair. Hold your ground. Don't even go to the wedding. You are his father and supposed to fight like a wounded tiger for your son. Don't you dare give an inch. Not the asshole. You're Bridezilla STBSIL and your parents are being unreasonable and ridiculous. Bridezilla knew what your son looks like when she and your brother asked him to be in the wedding. If they aren't okay with his look, with a reasonable amount of styling, they should not have asked him to be in the wedding. No bride and groom get to mandate anything that can't be immediately undone after the wedding. Not the asshole. Tell your whole family, including your STBSIL. Let's be honest, FSTBXSIL. That you and your son see that they think so little of him that they are petty enough to be willing to exclude him over a haircut. Forcing a teenager to cut his hair is cruel, and not being a parent of said child makes your relatives' involvement inappropriate. Not the asshole. Bridezilla and her lot can sit and spin. I would get your son a blowout a la Sebastian Bach and sit with the family in Gen Pop if you end up going. Edit. Alternate option would be to cut it and dye it some obnoxious color like electric blue. However, I'm sort of a petty asshole like that. Absolutely not the asshole. Cutting hair without permission is legally assault in most places. I can find press clippings from the UK, Hong Kong, the USA on even the first page of Google results. I'll state that again with an example. Cutting off someone's ponytail as a prank is actual assault with actual case history. Apparently there's exceptions for under 10 in the US, where a child does not have to give permission to a parent for grooming, but older than that, the child get the final call. Not the asshole. Just tell your brother you'll catch his next wedding where they don't expect people to modify their bodies. So this is a major sticking point for me personally. My older brother has always had very thick curly hair and he wore it long throughout his teen years. People have him shit near constantly. It's bullshit and it makes me angry. Not the asshole. You still-to-be need to stay in her own damn lane. Don't like his hair? Fine. Don't have him be in the wedding. But everyone taking this as an opportunity to pressure him to change something about his appearance because they don't like it? That can all F all the way off. Major kudos to you for standing up for your son. Stay strong. Getting married doesn't give you some kind of agency over what other people do to their bodies. I'm appalled by how many posts I've read on here about people thinking they're entitled to police how others look because it's my wedding. Like okay? And it's their body? What's your point? Please keep your son safe from them and their entitled nonsense. Not the asshole. You are absolutely correct. I have a teenager with mega curly, thick and wild hair. My rule has always been that if you take of your hair, you can wear any way you want. And I wouldn't go to wedding either. Not the asshole. I wouldn't go either. How dare they think they can dictate something so personal? At that age my son had shoulder-length Atlantic blue hair and I wouldn't change it because someone else wanted it changed. Not the asshole. This is ridiculous. If she wants everyone to look perfect she can hire models. If she wants her wedding to be a gathering of friends and family they can come as they are. Not the asshole. Ask your family to Google all of the Oscars outfits so they can see that beards and long hair can clean up just fine. And give my apologies to your brother, his life is going to be interesting. If my stepfather talked to my son that way he would need to explain to future sister-in-law why he had a broken nose before the wedding. Not the asshole. And it's hilarious to me your stepfather is like if you don't cut your hair. The punishment is not being fitted for a tux and not being in a wedding as a flower boy. Oh no. The fact that your niece is now harassing your son about this gets my hackles up. I'd be super pissed by this point. Not the asshole. And this is the time where a parent should step in to shield their kid, as you did. No one should be sending him messages like your stepfather did. Totally agree with not attending unless they all apologize to him directly and drop it. People may say, "Oh, you are missing the wedding over a haircut," and I'd flip it on them. They are berating and mistreating my son over a haircut. Plan a nice holiday for the time of the wedding and be done with these intrusive people, not the asshole. Not the asshole. As the philosopher Meat Loaf sang, "I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that." Not the asshole. That is not fair play, to ask someone to be in a wedding and then demand that they make a lasting and very personal change to their appearance for it. NB. There is nothing inherently lacking in formality about long hair on a young man. If your son's hair will ruin the wedding, there is nothing you can do to save it. Save yourselves instead. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. And, good for you for standing so solidly in support of your teenage son. It can be a difficult time for kids, and your support will mean the world to him. NTA. I have spoken. Not the asshole. Sounds like you will have a nice free weekend and the pleasure of knowing you stood up for your son. Not the asshole. Hair, especially these days, is not a big deal. I know men who are senior management at large corporations who have long hair. If your son wants long hair, let him have it. And you should definitely go at least, low contact, if not, no contact, with your entire family. I thought your post was bad, but some of your replies have made it clear that they're all toxic. Not the asshole. Also, if he's multiracial or has thick, curly hair, a haircut likely wouldn't fix what they're trying to do here. My daughter has super curly hair that grows out instead of down, and trimming it, dead ends and damaged bits from how the sun dries her out, just reinforces the shape and texture. Edit. In the comments Op says they want him to cut it with a 1-guard clipper, which is a disaster for thick and curly hair. Good God, that would basically make him look like military. They, Sil and Co. really suck. Not the asshole. Parent of the freaking year for standing up for your son against all this toxicity. Not the asshole. Thanks for being a good parent. Not the asshole. They changed the terms for his being involved long after it was agreed that he wouldn't have to cut his hair. This mess is one of their making, not yours, and not your son's. Not the asshole, as you respect your son and obviously don't want to change his, and seems that your bro didn't want either. Info. What kind of cut are we talking about? Radical as in from shoulder lenite to a millimeter long, or JUSTR a few inches that makes no change? Not the asshole. The bride is definitely over-controlling. She has no right to demand anyone cut their hair. If you and your son had known from the beginning that the haircut was a non-negotiable condition for the wedding, you would have refused. Your parents shouldn't be making demands and threats, either. None of these people are your son's parents. You right to not go to the wedding anymore. None of these people are treating you and your son like family. 1000% not the asshole. Love has nothing to do with appearance. You've taken all the right steps to protect your son. If his hair is more important to them than him not being there, then that's their choice and it's on them. I'm a bride, and while I have specifics I want, ultimately the day is going to be beautiful regardless of what could go wrong, including hair, makeup, or dress malfunctions. TBH, I'm looking forward to the stories about how crazy things were on the day and how wonderful it was anyways. Weddings should be about love and family, not some perfect idea of a ceremony. Not the asshole. I can't believe the nerve of your STBSIL and the rest of your family. I mean, yeah, it is her wedding, but making people cut off their hair is beyond ridiculous. She could have easily compromised with a tasteful style or even a nice hat. Not the asshole. Don't attend. Go to the wedding. Sit in the audience and smile beatifically. Be graceful and happy. Congratulate everyone and don't mention a thing about hair. Don't give them the pleasure of righteous indignation. You win. If you stay home you lose, and it will go on forever. Not the asshole. Holy bridezilla though. Not the asshole. First it's his hair, and second, why are they trying to act like his hair is ghetto or something? Info. Have you talked privately to your brother about this? Does he want you not to attend his wedding because of a haircut? Lay it out like that gently to him and see what he says. My son has longer hair than most women. It's a stunning mane of lush spiral curls. There is no way I'd let anyone try to cut it or even suggest cutting. It's his identity as sure as it is your son's. I'd do something fun with your little family and skip that circus of a wedding. Hire a 5-year-old to cut Bridzilla's hair unceremoniously when she is not expecting it. I have a 3-year-old that would do it for a donut, and geez, they are tiny ninjas, it can be done. Eat donuts, donut, yummy face and chill. Not the asshole, his hair is part of him. And if he wants to keep his hair, then they have absolutely no right to tell him otherwise.